Welcome back, guys. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stay productive while developing. So I'm going to show you the simple tips and tricks which I follow on a daily basis to become more focused and productive throughout the day. So I hope you enjoy this video. All right, let's look at it this way. We spend the majority of our time on our IDE or text editor. So this is the first place that we need to look at. And this is the place where you want to spend most of your time on. You don't want to be leaving this place for any reason, except if you have to test something out or if you want to look at the browser. Other than that, you shouldn't really look outside. So the first thing I would recommend is to drop your terminal, the external terminal, and use the inline terminal, which I do all the time. So basically, you can open up multiple terminals here. So I could open up so many terminals and I can go through them. Basically, I could switch through them like that. Or, which is what I do usually, is just split the terminal screen into two. If I have more than two, then I would start creating different terminals. But usually having one and splitting it is the perfect thing to do. One to run the project and one to do other things such as GitHub stuff. If I don't want to use the GitHub activity item here, so if I don't want to, basically if I didn't want to use this part here, I would use the terminal, and that saves me a lot of time. Otherwise, before I used to have to open a different terminal and I have to switch between my text editor and that terminal, and that takes a lot of time, and sometimes it's just as you're switching, you get distracted. Let's say you switch to your browser or some other things, that becomes a bit distracting for you. So I'd suggest that you keep your terminal within your text editor. Most of the text editors or IDEs have built-in terminals, so you don't have to leave your IDE or text editor in order to run something or perform an operation. So the best thing is keeping the terminal within your text editor. That's the first thing. The second thing I would recommend is start using Zen Mode. What do I mean by Zen Mode? So now if I activate Zen Mode, you can see that everything disappeared. And the only thing left is the numbers here, the line numbers, and a few other Git stuff on top. And that's all I need, really. If you're working with two files side by side, you can still do Zen Mode. So what I have here on the Mac, Control Z, that activates and deactivates Zen Mode. By default, it's a different key shortcuts for it. So what you want to do is you want to go to Code or File Preferences, and then you look at Keyboard Shortcuts. And in here, you would type in Zen, and it will show you the shortcut to toggle Zen Mode. And in here, I have Zen Mode using Control on Windows or on Mac, Control Z. And this is how I usually toggle it on and off. Another thing you want to do is, by default, the numbers are not shown. So the line numbers are not showing. So what you want to do is you open up your settings, and in here you type in Zen Mode. Now by default, Zen Mode is centered layout. So when you're working on a file, your file is centered and there is a blank space to the right and blank space to the left, making it just centered, which I don't like that. I just don't prefer that. So what I do is I toggled off this option. If I turn it back on, the file will become centered. So I don't want that. Check, yeah, this is full screen, that's fine. I hide the activity bar, yes, because I want to have very, very little distraction when I'm working. Hide line numbers. By default, this was ticked, so I ticked it off, and right now it shows the line numbers. Everything else is ticked. So I suggest you do something kind of similar, whereby you're only able to see the line numbers, and that's it. That way Your focus is entirely on what you're doing. A lot of the times I see myself going and switching themes, working with plugins and doing a lot of things which you don't need to, especially when you're doing a task. Because what happens is you're distracted here, then you go to your browser, you get distracted again, you go other places, you get distracted, and you haven't done anything. So the best thing is focus, at least have this turned on a few times a day, maybe once a day or so, to get your task done, and then you can get distracted in peace. That is the next thing, or that is the main thing that I would suggest you do here. Now, the third thing which I do and follow is start using something like Vim. So I use a plugin here called Vim, which allows me to avoid using the mouse as much as possible. Now, I don't use the mouse that much anymore, but I still do. So I haven't found myself leaving the mouse completely. Sometimes I forget that I'm using Vim, and I would still drag the mouse and click and do other things. But with Vim, what you can do is, so right now, as you can see here, it says normal. This is when you know Vim is active. In here, I could literally just go down, go up, move, navigate faster between different lines and different words. I could delete, I could undo, I could copy paste basically, I could delete a word, I could bring it back, I could move by a word, I could do a lot of things. I could replace a word. Let me see. As you can see here, I could delete single characters. I could delete a lot of things. Now what this has done for me is it increased my knowledge in Vim. So now if I go to Terminal and I have to edit a file through Terminal, I'm able to do it because I know a lot of shortcuts in Vim. It became easier for me to navigate these files. And also, by not using the mouse as much as possible, it allows me to be faster, more productive in my day-to-day work. Now this is really, really interesting. You don't have to learn Vim. Now this is just a suggestion, of course, but in my opinion, it's a very, very good thing to learn and to have. So this is the next thing I would suggest. If you're able to learn it, it takes a couple of weeks. It's very frustrating. So I tried to learn it twice before and I gave up because there's a lot to learn. But what I do is I have a cheat sheet which I follow. But before that, if you want to learn Vim, the best thing to do is open up your terminal and in here type in Vim Tutor and hit enter. Now what's going to happen is Vim comes with a tutorial basically. So it allows you to learn it from within your terminal. So in here I'm using Vim shortcuts to move down. So as you can see here, it tells you, it gives you lessons to follow. Okay, it tells you what each keystroke does, and it provides you, it gives you the option basically to perform it. So it teaches you what these characters are or what these keystrokes do, and then it asks you to perform this operation. And there's a lot of lessons here. So this is the first thing I ever did to learn Vim. This is on the third time. The first and the second time I didn't do this. But the third time I decided to do this. As you can see, it gives you a lot of information. So it tells you how to delete, it tells you how to copy, paste, it tells you how to replace characters, it tells you how to navigate between characters, between words, it tells you how to go up and down, move to the top of the page, to the bottom of the page. Once you're done with this, I would then have a screen or a cheat sheet open on the side. When I'm working and I'm stuck at something and I forget, I would go to that cheat sheet and I would get the key and I would use that key to perform the operation. And after a while, you won't need this cheat sheet and you'll end up closing it because you've known everything by repeating the same operations. So I highly recommend you do Vim Tutor if you want to learn Vim. Okay, you can do it. It doesn't have to be from this terminal. It can be from any terminal, really. And to exit is :Q. And that's it. That's the easiest way to learn Vim. Now, the next thing I recommend is having a way to track down your progress. So let's say I'm working and I find a couple of issues. Now, it's important that you create tickets for them on Jira or other places, but also it is important that you track them down locally. So let's say you're working on just a single task, and that task, there's different problems within that task. What do you do? Now, we could write to-dos here, basically to do blah blah blah, and then you could have an extension that would find the to-dos. So there's a lot of extensions here that would scan through your project and locate your to-dos or the to-do comments that you've left, and then you can go through them and basically solve them one by one. That's perfect, but sometimes this becomes confusing and you could forget about it. So what I think is good to use is an app that's specifically designed for to-dos. So on my work laptop, I use Microsoft To Do. So when I have a task and I'm working on this task and I have a couple of things that needs to be done, I usually write them down. I don't have it on this machine, unfortunately, but what I have is the Notes To Do. So the Apple Notes, and I create basically a simple example I would give you is fix the error handler. Okay, so when I find things, I write them down as I find them, because otherwise I'll end up forgetting about them. So especially if they're related to the task that you're working on and you want to fix them before you deliver your code, so write them down on your to-do app, and then once you go through once you're done with whatever you're doing at the moment, you go through this app and you find, okay, you fix the error handler, and you can leave a bit of note here. Okay, you can, like, let's say, specify the file name that you need to look at. Okay, so I could say error handle. I could leave other notes beside it, and once I see this, I know where to go and where to look. So then all I have to do is go to that file, fix the issue, and once it's done, complete it. And what happens here, when you're completing and you're ticking off a to-do, you feel some sense of accomplishment. Honestly, try it out, have a list of things to do, and see. Like, you'd feel much, much better. You'd feel like you accomplished something. I can't explain why, but basically it's great feeling. So try it out and let me know what you guys think. In terms of plugins, for Git, I have everything. I use everything from within my text editor, so I don't have to leave my text editor at all. The only thing which I need to go out the text editor for is the browser if I want to see the result of something, and the other thing is a REST API client. So in here I have a client which I use to test out my endpoints, basically. I know a lot of people would use something like, I think there's an extension called REST, which I have as well. It seems good, but I prefer to go either for Insomnia or Postman. So only when I need to test out an endpoint, I would go for Insomnia or Postman. Other than that, everything can be done from here. Everything that you need to, whether it's debugging, basically anything else. If I want to work side by side, so what I would do is I would have the browser open on one side and my editor open on one side. If I wanted to basically work faster. What I would recommend you do as well when you're working is splitting your screens. So having like your CSS or SAS or whatever it is on one side, and then the main content on another side. That way you're working faster more productive, and you don't have to go back and forth between different files. So you have it all on one side and the other one on the other side. This is my best tips for you as a productive programmer. So these were my favorite tips and tricks which I follow on a daily basis in order to stay productive. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and follow for more. Also, if you have any more tips that you want to give me, leave a comment below.